KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno, Clovis, not too far from the newly opened Fulton Street. Used to be a mall and now it's a street. Our guest this week is joining us from Southern California via Skype. She was in town not too long ago filming. Let me introduce you to Valerie McCaffrey. Valerie, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you so much. Nice to see you again, Sevag.
Likewise. Well, the reason I invited you on the program again is, number one, we were impressed with you the first time you were on several years ago, but more recently you were in town filming, correct?
Yes, I was filming the short film called Dirty Bomb.
So tell us a little bit about your background. How did you come about coming to Fresno to film?
Well, it was always on my bucket list to come back into town and do a movie there. We filmed the first part in Frazier Park in the snow. I was looking around for a concentration camp scenario, and I got in touch with the Fresno Film Commission, and she sent me some pictures, and lo and behold, there was something that fit my needs, and then we just secured it and moved forward.
So you are originally from Fresno, correct? Tell us a little bit about your Fresno background.
Well, I'm Armenian, first of all. There you go. What a surprise. But I grew up in Sunnyside and went to Roosevelt and Sanger High School, both. Studied theater in school and did all of that. My parents owned a restaurant across the street from the high school called Vern's. So I had a very interesting childhood. And of course, my family's roots go pretty far, right from the genocide, early 1900s,
So you grow up in Fresno, and then you decide, I need to be in Southern California. Talk about that transition.
Well, my parents took me for vacation to Hawaii, and this was around the time that I was looking for colleges. And so they took me to Hawaii. I didn't even see the school. I didn't tour the school just like normal kids would do it. I just said, there's a university here? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, I'm applying. So I worked my butt off at Outpost, Outpost restaurant, and I was a waitress. I worked like tons of hours and saved enough money and went to University of Hawaii, got accepted there, went there, and then had enough of that. And then my girlfriend, my roommate at the time, had gone to Cal State Long Beach, and she said, why don't you just go to Long Beach? So then I went to Long Beach and graduated there. And during that period of time, I did internships. I worked for the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in the film division. I cut sound. I did PA work where I wiped the sweat off of Tom Jones. I did all kinds of things. So
one of the ways this interview is being broadcast is from Fresno State's KFSR radio. And so you were a part of a college station as well early on, correct?
Yes, I worked for KSUL, radio station over at Cal State Long Beach. And I was promotions director. And I ended up booking talent on the campus and put on concerts and did a bunch of stuff. And I got paid for it.
That sounds like you had a lot of fun and got paid for it.
I know. Oh, yeah. Radio's fun.
So now you're in Southern California. That's your base, correct?
Yes, it is.
So what are you up to? You're casting director, I hear. You're writing stuff.
Yes. I actually, Dirty Bomb ended up, there's going to be some really great news about Dirty Bomb very soon. It got accepted at a very prestigious worldwide festival, and I'm writing the long version of this story, which is about the Holocaust prisoners who actually sabotaged the V2 bomb. And how I got inspired was my uncle served in the Army and served at Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, wow.
About the story.
So, and do you think that growing up hearing about the Armenian genocide helped you at all kind of gather your thoughts about Dirty Bomb?
Oh, absolutely. I felt that, you know, the reason why the Holocaust happened is because, you know, and Hitler even stated it, that it was whoever said about what the Turks did to the Armenians. And I think this is what really drove me as well, because I think that a lot of movies that have come out just recently really haven't portrayed the horror of any oppression upon a nationality to a point of, you know, torture and all the other things that both Armenians and the Jewish population endured.
So you write this Dirty Bomb film, and then you decide you want to shoot in Fresno. You reach out to the Film Commission, and then what?
Oh my goodness. So then we raised, you know, we had, the movie is two parallel stories. One is about the U.S. soldiers in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge, and then the other one is at the concentration camp and how the two worlds collide. And so I ended up raising money for the first part, and then now I had to raise money for the second part. And so I did that and got the crew together, and we, you know, made a couple of trips to Fresno where they looked at the location, made some plans, and then we went and we shot it, and it was amazing.
So let me stop. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but during the interview, you're going to say things to get me to ask you questions. And number one, I don't think people realize that you need to raise money in order to put a film together, correct?
Yes, especially a short film, you know, because it's not something that automatically has money that's going to be returned to you. In other words, yes, nowadays, though, you know, short films do make some money, but not into the extent of a feature-length film. So you do have to raise it.
You put a crew together, and how did you select who's a part of this project? I mean, you know, you need key people in key places. What made you decide to bring on some key players?
Well, one of the producers, Brian Kelly Jones, actually had a camera package. And so he wanted to be part of this project after reading the script. So he brought on the camera package, which then, with the camera package, came people that worked the different parts of the camera. And then I picked a director of photography, Kuba, and we all ended up putting, you know, the pieces together. What was so interesting in Fresno was that our production designer, Liz Brace, had never worked on a film before, and she did such a fabulous job that I gave her credit as production designer on this film, and she was just so incredible, and it was just such a joy to work with the Fresno crew, and the extras were amazing. I mean, everyone was, Doug Jones was like fantastic storyboard artist.
Let me stop you there and ask you about location. Did Fresno provide you the exact location you were looking for?
Absolutely, they certainly did. And not only that, there was some weeds growing outside, and we had some things to clean up because it was an abandoned place. And I felt like I was a general in the Army, because there I was at 8:00 a.m. the day before we're going to shoot, and there's 2 bulldozers out there. There's like a whole crew of guys, and I'm just like, what is going on? I can't believe all this. This is just so awesome. And it was Fresno County came to the table and did it, you know?
So would you come back again to film here?
Of course I'd come back. Matter of fact, I'm prepping a movie pretty soon that might be filming there. The thing right now is I really wanted to show the film to the community, because I think there's a resource there in Fresno, and people that have a thirst for the arts, but it seems like it's hard to get that support to show the film. So maybe if you have any help, Sevag.
Sure. We definitely hear one of the ways that we broadcast this interview is through the Community Media Access Partnership, the CMAC Comcast 93, AT&T 99, and we love material that has anything to do with Fresno. So if there's a project that has any tie to Fresno, we have approval to air it, we love to bring it. So you send people our way. We would gladly host some sort of viewing here because, you know, the people that I've talked to in the film industry who I've interviewed on this program, just like you have said, that their experience in Fresno has been incredible, which is I'm glad to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously the people are number one, and they do love the arts. We just, you're not far from Los Angeles. So if you can plan this whole thing right, you can bring a lot of industry to Fresno because there's a lot of different locations. I mean, you've got the 50s that you can still film in. You've got a lot of different locations. So I just think that it's out there for the grab, but we just need to get a little bit more organized in getting that enthusiasm.
Speaking of Fresno, so, you know, you came and you filmed last summer when it was 100+ degrees. So how do you prepare for that as someone who's putting a film together? Obviously, you can't control weather.
Well, you have good makeup artists that can go and take the sweat off the people, and making sure that there's, the talent has rooms where they can stay cool because obviously the photography is the most important as what camera, actors look like on camera. And we had some, just the support there in Fresno was incredible. I can't even say one thing that was not done to excellence. So, yeah.
How did the talent search go? Because, I got a couple of emails saying, project, needs talent, and people were excited to be a part of your project. So tell us a little bit about how the talent search went.
Well, Lisa Villapando, who is also a makeup artist, was also helping me get extras. And then you were so kind as to advertise. Of course, we had to make sure that the talent was thin because, of course, one of the things that in the camps is that they starved, workers. So we had to have a special look and a special period look. So I would, with Lisa, I had some actors come in and I would talk to them and see how they would be. And then they ended up either right for it or not. Chris Guys was the one that suggested Wendy Hamilton to play the young woman in the movie. And so that was great. I mean, she's also a deaf actress, which I love hiring, people that have disabilities as well. So it was all done. And it was exciting also because they also had it on the talk radio. So we got a lot of play for that.
And the news media was all over it because the next day and that night I kept watching and, I was proud because, I've interviewed you before on air. So I'm like, this is great. Valerie's getting all this publicity. Let me ask you about publicity. Is publicity helpful for you?
Publicity gets the word out and, and then you can collaborate with people. So if nobody knows what you do, then there's no collaboration. And of course, making a movie or doing anything, you can't, one man is not an island, so I don't know if that's the proper saying, but, I just think that, marketing is everything and you need it in no matter what business you're in.
So what keeps you going? I mean, I talked to you a few years ago and you had this passion and you had this energy and you were, when I talked to you last, I think you were traveling abroad to go location scout. And then, I'm talking to you today and you still have this energy. What excites you about this industry?
I get excited because I'm not a 9-to-5 girl. I like things that are a little bit, when you're working 12 to 14 hours a day or 16 hours a day, it's a-okay with me as long as we're creating art. And that your project has a message. That message to me is very important. For instance, the message of, the Jewish prisoners that nobody ever knows about this story that sabotaged the V2, which then ultimately could have saved my uncle's life and many other people's lives. and it's yet a very unknown story. Or the cancer documentary I've done. Everything has a social relevance, and to me, that's when art is best served by, in my opinion, what I like to do. And that's, so what's the next thing that I want to say? And, whether it's about drug addiction or drug dealers or whatever the project might be, it's about that, for me. And that's what drives me.
So Dirty Bomb is complete now. And by the way, when did you know you have a finished product? Because editing is one of the most difficult and tedious things that I do when I'm working on projects. So when do you know you have a final project? Because you could always tweak things, correct?
Because on the film festival circuit, they don't want anything that's like more than 14, 15 minutes long. So my short is 24 minutes with credits. So we had to like cut it down even more, and just, have the same storyline and do all of that. Just, cut it down just a little bit. And so how do I know? How do you know? I mean, by playing it over and over and over and over again and watching it. I also have seen millions of movies, not millions, but, thousands of movies in my lifetime for 30 years of working in this business. So I do know what I like. And then I play it for people that are close to me. I play it for my associate Desiree and my associate Vanessa. And we look at the movie and I ask everyone that I trust their opinion. So what do you think? What do you think something needs to be tweaked, or what is your feeling about it? So you do trust other people that you can go to give you honest feedback.
Now that Dirty Bomb is next, comes the marketing of it. Congratulations. You said that it's going to be in a major production or a major festival. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I can't really say anything because I got an early acceptance.
Okay, congrats.
It's the number one.
We'll stop there. It's okay.
Huge worldwide acceptance. Okay, and I'm really excited that it's a really honor to be part of this. So, yeah, so that's what's happening with the movie, and we're just tweaking the edit right now. And then we got to get a trailer together and do a website and do all that stuff. So that's all the marketing part of it. That we already have a Facebook page. So, but now that we got accepted to one of these huge places, we gotta kick everything else into gear.
So sometimes when I go to the coffee shop or when I go to the mall, I observe and I people watch, and I see some people that really have public speaking abilities. They look like they're very talented when they're speaking. Are there people out there that you see or that you run into that, should be in the movie industry, but for some reason haven't taken that path? Because I'll give you an example. I was at the coffee shop the other day, and this person walked in, and she just got the attention of everybody in the room. She wasn't wearing anything flashy or anything, just her public speaking was there. She was very appropriately, pronunciating things. And I thought, wow, this would be a good person on radio or TV. Are there people out there that should be in this industry?
Well, you're talking, yes, absolutely. But you're talking about Fresno. And, usually, the opportunity probably isn't as apparent in Fresno as it is in LA. Of course, everyone here in LA is pursuing exactly what they're pursuing, and there are millions of people out there doing it. So, but I do think that Fresno needs to amp up its game on allowing that marketplace to develop the actors and to develop, commerce, because there are talented people in Fresno, and you'll see it in the movie. It's just that they need more of a place for that talent to be showcased.
Let me ask you about the economy a little bit. When you're doing a production like Dirty Bomb or another movie, we've had several other, Indiana Jones, where they used one of our airports, or there were several other movies, Grizzly Stadium, when they did, Billy Crystal was here and did Grizzly Stadium. And then some people saw Oprah walking in the mall in River Park, and they thought, wow, is she filming something here? When there's a production in Fresno, does it generate money for the economy?
Of course, it generates a lot of money for the economy. And it brings people to the hotels. Brings people to the restaurants. It brings awareness to the city. It's so important. And why do you think LA? LA is LA because of the industry, and Fresno being only 200 miles away and being more industry friendly, meaning that it's cheaper to shoot there. That's one thing that the town should really jump on, but it doesn't seem like it's going as fast as it should.
Well, and let's see, with some, developments and growth, I'm seeing a lot more interest in Fresno from out of town investors and out of town projects. So hopefully we'll get to the point where we start shooting more films here because, and I'll let you answer this question. How easy was it to go out to a couple of places that you went out and shoot there?
It was incredibly easy and supportive. Everyone was supportive. So what we need to do now, Sevag, is we need to take that support and turn that into greenbacks, dollars. So that way the support is there, and takes very little money to shoot something there in Fresno. Now we got to set that into the marketing of this, and also having people just be more involved in building that base. So when I go to where I go to, which is in a foreign country, and I start talking about, where I filmed, Fresno is going to be on the tip of my tongue. Okay. So, that can generate, and I'm going to be meeting probably millions and millions of filmmakers and producers and all of that. So I'm going to be out there being the advertisement for Fresno, but now Fresno has to take that and take it to the next level.
And we had for a while a film commissioner. I think you're absolutely right, by the way. We had a film commission before and a film commissioner, and from my understanding, in the downturn of the economy, that position was cut or converted to a volunteer position. But you're right. I mean, there are so many different beautiful things. Next time you come to Fresno, you have to see the newly opened Fulton Mall because, it's a beautiful place. I walk the mall every day because I work on the mall, and I think, I look at buildings and I'm like, what a beautiful 40s bank scene. It could be filmed there.
I'm coming on the 14th of April.
Well, if you're in town, let us know. So what's next for you, Valerie? I mean, you're always on the go. I love that you have 30 years of experience in this industry. What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I'm writing the long version of Dirty Bomb. I'm still casting, okay? And I have a talent management company that I have two. Desiree Middlebrook, and Vanessa McCaffrey, my daughter, works with me, where we represent talent, Academy Award nominated, and we represent across the board, men, women, and children. And we do that, so everything keeps me extremely busy. So that's what I do. I continue to move forward and write and create.
So you have so many years of experience in this industry that I think of you as this kind of expert. And although you're in Southern California, you are from Fresno, so I'll call you a local expert. But, films, Hollywood, it's sexy. Like you see, films and you see magazines and people look at that and like, wow, they're making a lot of money down there and all they're doing is taking pictures or filming some things. For people who don't know this industry and the production, it's not just you swing once and you hit a home run, correct?
Right. It's years and years and years of sometimes of training and if you're pursuing acting, it could be 10 years before you make a break. So the reason why it's so fascinating is that there is no rules to this business. I just think that you must just continue to work and work at it and do what you love.
So, Valerie, we are running out of time this week on the program. What is it that we can do to support you? Dirty Bomb, when it comes out for purchase, I'm going to tell everybody to go out, watch it, and purchase it. But anything else that our audience members, can help you do? And the reason why I'm so supportive is I love that you're from Fresno, and I love that you're doing these projects and you keep going.
Yeah, I haven't fallen over yet. I'd like to have a place where I could screen Dirty Bomb to the community. That's what I would love to do, and I think that would really be good for for your government to see how important it is and what Fresno has to offer filmmakers coming in out of town. And so, if you have a screening room, and we could set that up, I'd love to show all the people that worked on the film. And I tried Fresno State, but I wasn't too successful. So I don't know. You tell me, Sevag. I'm putting this in your hands.
Sure. And we'll have that discussion a little later on after the interview is done. But how can people find out more information about you? I know you're on that IMBD site. How can people find out more about the Dirty Bomb?
We have a Facebook page called, because they have a Dirty Bomb game, I guess. So we're the unofficial Dirty Bomb. So they can visit the Facebook page and see what's going on there. And pretty soon, on the Facebook page, we'll have a trailer and all that information. And then I'm sure someone can find me through Google. All of my, information is pretty much on there.
So audience members listening to this broadcast on KFSR or watching us on the CMAC channels, they need to go out, how do they support independent filmmakers?
Well, many times you can go on to Indiegogo and be part of it. You can just track some films that you want to put $25 towards. Also go out and watch movies that are not, you have the Black Panthers of the world, obviously, but then go out and watch independent films. Because, at the end of the day, they're the ones that usually are nominated at the Academy for, their art, So that's what I say, support indie films.
On that note, perfect way to end the program. Valerie, we are out of time this week on the program. Again, we appreciate your time and being with us today.
Thank you, Sevag.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Thank you to our audience members listening to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM, to those watching on Comcast 93 and AT&T 99, the CMAC channels. Most importantly, thank you to the volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. We couldn't do this program without you. We hope you enjoyed the program with local film expert. I call her local because she's from here, now based in Southern California, Valerie McCaffrey. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.